is right. We can talk about anything you like. Just listen. Take a walk right over to my kitchen. What you wanna do? Come mix it up with the stew. So tell me what you wanna do. Come mix it up with the stew. Yeah, come mix it up with the stew.
Welcome to the stew. I'm so happy to be back. I'm Janae.
I'm Les.
I'm Anika, and you can tell I like new things, right? I used Janae brought me back a gift from South Africa, and Janae's back, and I'm excited!
It's been 2 whole weeks, girls.
Yes, it has.
It's been, I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you.
Tell them about my purse first.
We saw how much fun you were having on social media, so
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
About purse?
No, but as you know, I went to South Africa. It was an enlightening experience. It's like going to the motherland, where we came from.
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
down to my roots.
Of course.
Going to see the animals, which we evolved from. It was so much going on. But all jokes aside, it was a really amazing experience. South Africa has such a incredible history in that they've come from so much oppression. Apartheid is a big thing over there.
Yeah.
It just ended in 1994, which was crazy to me. And if you don't know what apartheid is, it's where blacks could not live in the same space as whites. And that was only 20 some years ago,
Yep.
where it was still in existence. So literally, you had to have a passport to go into the city. And even if you had your passport and they saw you in the city, they'd beat you before you can even get it
Crazy.
out.
Yeah.
So it was just such, learning about that, learning what our people went through. I was very grateful to be from the Bahamas where, we are the majority. They are the majority too, but they spent so much time making sure that black people were not risen up,
Yeah.
right? So you couldn't
That's
congregate in groups of more than 3 or you would be arrested, beaten and arrested, things like that. So knowing that, we didn't have to go through that. Yes, we were what they say, the house slaves or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But, we still have been able to rise up and we didn't let anybody kind of push us down. And neither did they. They fought, Nelson Mandela, such a great leader. Such, he was imprisoned for 27 years during apartheid. It's just amazing. I could talk about it all day, but
I know.
I'm just so excited.
I remember
Tell them about my purse.
Oh yeah, so this is an African print purse that I got in Nika.
Nice.
It's I saw it and I was like, wow, this is
Right up my
beautiful.
alley.
Yes, exactly.
Style
And
that coming your way.
Leslie didn't bring her gift.
Yeah,
but-
I didn't know we were doing show and tell. Otherwise,
It's great. So, guys, some new news.
Yes, you haven't been here for all that we've been discussing this week, but the whole world knows, yes, now that Donald Trump is president.
How did that happen?
But we just, honestly, it's only been a few days and I'm already exhausted
And
about
then
talking
Rob
about
Kardashian and that other girl had like
Yes.
a dream
So
or
that
something.
other girl-
And that other girl.
Sorry.
That is his baby mama. Girl, get it right.
Dream Kardashian is here, people. You know what I actually really like? Did you see? So there's a mannequin challenge happening, and Rob and China and Kris Jenner and Rob's mom did like the mannequin challenge while she was in, or I guess she was in fake labor. I'm hoping for the video. I thought it was kind of cool. It was kind of epic. But yes, Dream Kardashian is here, people.
That sounds like a line of tennis shoes.
Dream Kardashian.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like a line of lip gloss. Dream.
It sounds
Kardashian.
like
Tennis shoes.
dream come true.
Tennis shoes? I would never
what
want to
I'm-
wear tennis shoes
that's
named
what I'm
Dream. It sounds
thinking.
like Sweetwater tennis. Dream.
It could very well be. Honestly, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
It sounds like a vacation.
Not makeup.
Dream.
Yeah.
Kardashian.
A resort, perhaps, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to try and copyright it in some way.
Exactly. But so now, guys, I'm going to count down
Yes.
to when Black China's going to leave Rob.
Oh no, I don't
sure
think
it's
so.
gonna happen.
You don't think so?
No, I think
Well,
they're
they're
actually.
definitely going to break up, Anika.
Have you not
That's
watched
gonna
the
happen.
show at all?
Yeah. Have you ever? It's kind of lame.
They fight
just
over
saying.
French fries in a car.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Back there?
And she constantly emasculates him all the
Yeah,
time,
all
and
the
his
time.
mother. Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's a disgusting display to see. It's not going to be long.
Aw, well,
I think they're going to
You
be like
I mean,
Ciara and Future and Wiz and Amber. Just saying.
You think we'll have hope? Got
I
it.
did say it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for the ride. It's been
So
fun to see.
speaking of fabulous relationships, y'all, question for you. Would you date somebody that is, say, I don't know, 15, 20 years your senior?
Woo! Woo! Let me see how old I am and how much is 20. Ooh!
Okay, before y'all answer, I'll just say that I have. And
Have
it was
you?
one of the best relationships of my life.
Wow, how
Oh,
so?
so
How
cool.
Tell us. What made it great?
I mean, but we're not together now, so it wasn't that great.
But what made it great when you were together?
What made it great? We were, I would say honestly, out of all the relationships that I've ever had, I felt we were the most compatible. We can actually have discussions and conversations. And that's something that's really big for me. I enjoy that. I learned a lot. We had a lot in common, and that's also something that's really big for me. And we respected each other. Just, sometimes things happen and we went our separate ways. So
nice.
really the age factor made much more of a big deal to everyone else around us
Yeah.
Of course,
than
yeah.
it did for us.
But you know what people say too, like for men, so even if they're older than you, when it comes to maturity, they're a lot younger anyways.
Exactly.
So
they
I'm
mature a
assuming,
lot later anyway.
Yeah.
right. So I'm guessing 20
yeah.
years plus. I don't know. I don't think I can, because I know for a man who's 20 years older than me would want different things, or I'm assuming would want different things than I want at this present moment. I would imagine he'd want to settle down,
Yeah.
or just do certain things or interested in certain things that I cannot or don't want to do right now. Like I don't want to necessarily like settle down right now and think about things.
Honestly,
like that.
I think it really just comes down to, like I said, we had a lot in common, me and
Yeah.
my previous relationship, so it didn't make that much of a difference to me. And I think that is just something that you really have to keep in mind for anybody, because you could be 20 years, they could be 20 years older than you, 2 years older than you. It really comes down to how compatible you are and what place you are in your life at the time, as you've mentioned. So you just really have to examine that and do what works for you. I always say that you got it in this life. Just do what works for you.
Do what works for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
everyone's different.
Exactly.
That sounds a lot like some of the advice my mommy or my Grammy would like say to me all the time. Like,
Trust me,
do
that's
what
my new
works for
mantra.
you. Enjoy life, child.
Yes.
And I mean, did your mom or Grammy ever like give you a good piece of advice that stuck with you? Like an old adage or a line?
Something my mom used to say all the time, and of course, at the time, it's those type of things you don't really understand until you get a little older. But
Yeah.
I always used to hear her say, sometimes you have to see like you don't see and hear like you don't hear. And I carry that with me all
What
the
does
time
that
because it
mean
is so
exactly?
true. Well, you have to really just be discerning and knowing what things to ignore and what things to not ignore. It's like picking your battles.
Right, I was
Yeah,
going to
there
say
you
picking
go.
your
Yeah.
battles.
My
That's
grandma
nice.
used to tell me to make my hair curl. I never knew what that meant.
Make your hair
Yeah,
curl.
she'd just be like, make your hair curl. And that stuck with me. And I still
Is
can't
that like a
make my-
literal thing?
I
or
never
like
could make my own hair curl. Like I think about it.
But when did she say it? Let's
like
try.
what was the context,
Yeah,
Janae? Help us to
what-
understand this.
when would she usually?
Yeah, this was following or preceding what exactly?
I don't know. I don't really know. It just made no sense.
you just thought
but
you'd throw that in there.
It stuck with me. You know, you know
Okay,
what I
well,
mean?
thank you for throwing that in there for us.
But
I don't know. I don't remember. My mom and my aunts say so much. I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, boy, they're comical people. I would just say my aunt would always say, "Enjoy life.
okay.
Enjoy life. No matter
Yeah.
what's going on, you could have one pair of shoes and maybe one meal or tanks, ain't tanks. Just enjoy life."
I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing my mom used to say: grab the kitchen spoon. And I knew exactly what that
Is
meant.
that like make your hair curl?
No,
is that
that
you
was
about to get
you about to get. These are the things I remember. Like I can't remember much more.
You had it kind of rough, huh? Didn't you, Janae?
I know. I used to get beat all the time.
You was a bad little girlie.
I used to get beat all
You
the
could
time.
tell you was bad, mischievous.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So I'm sorry about that. I just can't remember anything, but I do remember the funny stuff as a child, which is
Right.
good. So
Yeah.
I had a really good childhood.
Yeah.
But anyway, so over the weekend, I had the pleasure to not host, but to judge a scholarship competition, which was very, encouraging. So
Yeah.
high school students between grades 10 and 12 got the chance to submit an essay on their ideas to boost the Bahamian economy.
Nice.
So how are they actually going to make a difference
Right.
in, contributing to our GDP and things like that? So there was such a wonderful experience. The ideas that came out of it, half and half. What disturbs me a bit is a lot of students think the government should do everything.
A lot of yeah.
So when it
Yeah.
comes down to question and answers, you'll be like, so how do you plan to fund this? Or how do you think you'll get money for this?
Right.
And their answer is, well, the government could give it to me, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, and it's always good to be in the room and say, well, no, unfortunately, you know, you're going to
doesn't
have
work
to.
that way, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have to find ways to, you
To
know, I mean,
be
capitalism
creative.
at its best,
Yes.
you know? But, you know, putting that aside, some students, you know, it's encouraging to see that they really have some bright ideas for this country. They're passionate about seeing where, you know, what they can do, how they can
Any of the
contribute.
ideas you can actually share with us, or is it like top secret? Anything?
Well, you'll see that soon, but I'll
Okay.
tell you a fun fact. I actually entered when I was in 12th grade.
Nice.
And I submitted an essay on my ideas to boost the Bahamian economy. And one idea that always comes back, and everyone's like, you really need to implement that, was a retirement village on
Yeah.
one of the family islands, where
Oh.
persons can go and retreat after being
Nice.
retired,
Yeah.
things like that. But you are actually going to see right now who was the big winner
Ooh.
of this weekend's
Good stuff.
scholarship competition. Here's a fun clip of what happened.
Without further ado, and with the thanks of all our judges, the dedicated staff of Sunshine Insurance, and of course Shelley and Fran and Wilson, and all of the people there that helped, we're all proud to say this year's grand champion is Yamil Moss.
We want to thank all of you again for taking the time to be a part of this speech competition. We want to thank Elmira College for taking the time out in their busy schedule to be here today and be a part of this. And we really and truly are excited for each one of you, because a lot of people would apply to this, but not everyone made it to where you are. And so scholarship or no scholarship, the fact of the matter is we salute each one of you, because the fact that you're in this room speaks volumes. And so we want to thank you on behalf of Elmira College, which I'm a trustee of, and Sunshine Insurance, which I'm a director of. We want to say and salute you and say congratulations and wish you the best.
Welcome back to The Stew. Today in studio, we've got a young woman with a powerful story. Her name is Dr. Lorneka Joseph. She's a coach, she's a motivational speaker, she's a doctor, and we're so happy to have her here today. Welcome, Dr. Joseph. Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Okay, so I've got your book here, Right Things, Wrong Season.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it? Tell us what you have from the beginning.
Okay, so pretty much Right Things, Wrong Season is a journey of my story, being a 32-year-old virgin, and I'm just taking the time really while I'm single to just find myself, to learn who I am. God has called me to be. I've got out of relationships that are pretty much not working, and so Right Things, Wrong Season is chasing the right things, but recognizing that now may not be the time. It may not be the time to get married or get into that relationship until you learn who you are. And so the book, I share tips on things that women can do, how they can find themselves and heal actually before they get into marriage. So that's pretty much what Right Things is Wrong Season is all about.
And before the book itself came along, you yourself had an absolutely, how should I put it, tumultuous journey of sorts. It took you some time to really find yourself and to grow into yourself and to know yourself a little bit better before you got to actually writing the book. Tell us about your journey.
Oh
How
my
did
gosh.
Dr. Lorneka become Dr. Lorneka?
Well, yes, actually, like you said, it was a very, very long journey before the title, before the book, before the success and everything that everyone sees, on social media. I was very insecure. I actually grew up, and I was talking with Anika earlier, I grew up on East Street here in the Bahamas, so I grew up in a very poor family, so I did not grow up with all the bells and whistles, so I did not know who I was. dealt with rejection. I was just very, very confused.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really hard. But before I got to the success, I had to take time out to heal and allow God to heal me first. And so that's pretty much who I was before everything that's being seen now with the book and the, you know, the coaching and all that.
Yeah.
What was the turning point for you? Like, when did the switch go off and, you know, you decided, I got to figure this out. I got to get prayed up. I got to, you know, get it right. I got to work on me. What was that turning point?
That turning point, Anika, was on the plane when I moved in 2005 on my way to Florida. I was on the plane. I left. I got to the airport. And I had a flight for Bahamas there. I had $206 in 3 suitcases. All I knew was I wanted to go to school and become a pharmacist. And tears started to flow down my face while I was sitting on the plane. And I was like, God, I can't do this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of just being a pretty broken woman. I said, if I pretty much made a deal, I said, if you fix me, I said, I will keep my leg closed and I will wait for the right one. But I said, I need you to heal me from the inside out. Because it was just so much emotions. I said, you have to show me a better way to live.
Right.
And that was my turning point.
I know a lot of young ladies they hear what you're saying, but that's harder to do than, it's easier to say than to do, right? What do you usually tell, if you're a coach, what do you usually tell young women who are going through such a difficult journey, but really can't get to that point?
To be one of the things that I think we have learned, if I can say, as Bahamians, we know how to cover up things very, very well. And so one of the things that I would definitely tell a young woman that's struggling with, you know, the insecurities is, first, you have to be honest with where you are. Because if you continue to lie or hide behind the mask, you're never going to get to the place where, okay, now you're healing or now you're embracing it. So be honest if you're insecure. Face the jealousies. Recognize it if you have your fears. Recognize if you don't have anyone around you. And when you get to the place of being honesty, because the Bible is really complete about it, confession is good for the soul.
Yeah.
So get to the place where you don't want to hide no more. You don't want to hide behind the makeup. So honesty is the first place I would tell a young woman, and then connect with someone that can take her to the place where she wants to be. You know, connect with a coach or find someone in the community, maybe a role model, or maybe, you know, also go into therapy to get beyond those issues that she's currently facing.
Right. What about you personally? I imagine, like Janae said, it's a lot easier to say certain things sometimes than it is for us to put it into action. So for you personally, what did you find was your biggest challenge throughout making the decision, you know what, God, I'm going to do this for you. I want to change my life, but I need your help. What did you find that were some elements throughout your life that were difficult to handle, but that you managed to overcome?
2 things: pleasing people and fear. Fear is literally, those were the 2 things that were very, very hard for me. Because growing up, and not that anything that my family had done, it was because of the past and me trying to figure out, okay, I don't know who I am, so let me put my self-worth in stuff. So I started to put my self-worth in what I did, my academics and all that. And so fear and realizing that I wasn't here to please everybody. And then fear of, what if this happens? What if I never get married? What if I can't go home anymore? What if my girlfriends don't see me the same? What if my family's not happy about me? It's just so much of the past and the fear. Right. So those were the 2 things that I really, really had to let go, not being concerned about what people think about me. And guess what? My past is my past, and God has already forgiven me. So now I have to embrace that I've already been redeemed. Now it's time to start over, Lorneka.
Wow.
I love that you said you've already been redeemed, and you have such strong and beautiful faith. I think it's important for people to see God in you, right? But how have you been able to continuously renew faith, to continuously be driven by faith, like confidently each and every, because I know it's a renewing process every single day, right? Because some days are harder than others.
Some days I don't want to pray. Right, it is.
It's a challenge at times.
It's really not easy, Anika. And so to continuously, one of the things is, I had to myself, before I became a mentor, before I started coaching, I had to get me a coach and a mentor. Okay. So when I first moved, that was one of the things that I prayed for after my mother passed away. And actually my first mentor was formerly Helen Miller, who was a teacher at C.R. Walker. So she was my first mentor. So I believe in mentor. Yes, nights in the place. So I believe in mentorship and also getting plugged up in a church or a group. I know a lot of people, especially young people, not so much caught up in church and, sick and tired of church hurt. So getting surrounded by other like-minded people. Some days I don't want to pray. Some days I don't want to fast. But I force myself because I realize there's nothing out here for me. It's nothing out here. I surround myself.
I like it, girl. There's nothing out here.
I surround myself with other women who are not into the business of competing with each other. We support. I take breaks. I learned how to say no. For 20 years here, that is important. I teach my clients, I said, listen, we are not called to be superwomen. So I learned how to say no financially. I know when my body is tired. I just know when I need to get a break. And so for me, rejuvenation is Jesus Christ. Getting into my word. I don't know the whole entire Bible, Anika. But I take my time, whatever I'm dealing with, if it's anxiety, if it's fear, I focus on that thing and I find the scriptures and I begin to ask God, help me to get over this. And that's how I rejuvenate myself in the morning. Or it doesn't even matter. Sometimes it's just at work. I just need to woosah, like, God, you got to help me today. So,
Lorneka, quickly before we go, just give us an idea of an experience or something that we'll find in the book.
So an experience you'll find in the book is I talk about one of the greatest things in the book that I talk about is sexual abuse. I was sexually abused as a little girl, and I talk about the process of actually not only just healing, but how God reunited me to actually talk with my extended family member who abused me for 3 years. So getting on the phone with him and getting to the place where I had to pray honestly for him. Because if you're still holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness, nothing's going to happen. Success, nothing was going to happen. So honestly, getting past that point, so I go into the real deal of how I got through that, how I got through the pain. So it's raw emotions, but I promise it's going to transform the way women think.
Such a powerful story. Such a power. We thank you for being
so
here.
much.
We do encourage everyone, especially young ladies who are trying to figure out where to go next in life and what to do, to buy this book, to even reach out, if they can reach out to you for mentorship and coaching. I think that, this is what we need in the world today. So we thank you. We thank you for coming on The Stew. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more stewiness. Welcome to this week's Fab Frugal, where I give you financial and career tips to get you on your day. So today we're going into Investing 101, Part 1, Know Yourself in the Market Before You Even Think About Investing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between saving and investing. As you know, saving is just simply putting your money up in hopes of using it in the future, whereas investing is actually committing your money to investment vehicles with the hope of making a financial gain. Now, the difference in investing and savings, the key difference here is risk. There's risk when it comes to investing. So now that you know that there's risk, what type of risk? So I'm going to break it down into 3 specific risks that you can encounter as a beginner investor. So first is the market risk. It's the value of the security being lost because of some sort of perceived economic conditions happening in the market. For example, Donald Trump won the election last week and you heard it. Markets plummeted. It eventually went back up. But again, it's people's perceived value of what's going on. Number 2 is interest rate risk. So this is specific to fixed income, but essentially if interest rate goes down, then the value of the security goes up and vice versa. So this is a risk that if interest rates go up, then the value of your fixed income security might just go down. The third type of risk is credit risk, and it only talks about the issuer's ability to pay back the loan from your investment, essentially. So can they actually give you the money back that you've invested in their company or whatever it is you're investing in? That's the credit risk. So if the company is in good standing, they're making a lot of money, their ability to pay you back is a lot higher than if the company just goes down. That's credit risk. So now with this knowledge, you can actually think about how you're willing to put your investments in motion and take on different types of risk. One rule of thumb is the higher the risk, the higher the return. So you might want to think about that, whether you want to take on a lot of risk, because chances are that might mean that you can make big returns in the future, but it also might mean you might make big losses in the future too. So just think about that. You got to know yourself, know the market before you even start thinking about investing. This has been Investing 101. Part 2, we're going to talk about the different types of asset classes that you can actually invest in. So until next week, this is your Fab Frugal, and we'll see you after the break.
Thank you once again for joining us for yet another episode of The Stew. And yay, our Janae is back. Finally, I cannot wait to sport my new purse with everything in my closet. I'm about to like match this up with everything.
Good,
you know that, right?
good, yeah.
Plaid,
All the
stripes,
colors
polka
are on
dots,
that, yeah.
everything. Thank you to Dr. Lorneka as well for stopping by and sharing your powerful story. This has been The Stew. We'll see you guys next time.
When the vibe is right.